In Norse mythology, the Norns are female beings who create and control fate, much like the Greek Fates or Moirai. Arguably, the Norns are the most powerful beings in Norse mythology, as they govern the lives of gods and mortals and decide the course of events, and they do so with no discernible malice or intent. While descriptions of the Norns vary, they're always said to be young maidens or middle-aged women. According to the Old Norse poem Fafnismal, the exact number of Norns is unknown, as there are many of them. In this version, the Norns are descendants of gods, giants, Jotnar, elves, and dwarves. The universally accepted version of the Norns, however, is that of the Icelandic poet Snorri Sturluson. He talks about three Norns, young and beautiful women, either Jotnar or unspecified beings, who stood on the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil and wove the fate of the world. The three Norns are mentioned by name. There is Uther, or Wyrd, meaning the past or fate. Vernandi, meaning what is presently coming into being. And Skuld, which means what shall be. Like the Greek Fates, who are described as three spinners, the Norns also wove the fabric of life. The Norns would sit beneath Yggdrasil, which, in Norse mythology, was a cosmic tree that connected all 9 realms with its branches and roots, thereby holding the entire universe together. The Norns, however, didn't occupy any of the 9 realms. They just stood beneath the tree, at its roots. Their location was marked by the Well of Uther, or the Well of Fate. According to differing sources, the Norns would design fate by engaging in one of several activities. These include weaving a piece of cloth, carving symbols and runes into a piece of wood, and casting wooden lots. There is, however, one other action Wyrd, Vernandi, and Skuld would do, which quite literally helped to keep the universe in existence. They would draw water from the Well of Fate and pour it over Yggdrasil's roots, so that the tree wouldn't rot, and the universe could continue to exist. Given their status as the governing beings of the entire universe, one would assume that the ancient Nordic and Germanic people would pray to the Norns for good fortune. After all, the Norns commanded even the fate of the gods, meaning they were even more powerful than them. However, there is no archaeological or literary evidence that anyone ever prayed to the Norns or worshipped them as they would a god, even though it was the Norns, and not the gods, who governed the lives of mortals. It was the gods who received all the prayers. There are 2 main theories for that. 1, the ancient people of Northern Europe did pray to the Norns, but the evidence of this simply hasn't survived to this day. And 2, the Nordic and Germanic people viewed the Norns as beings that couldn't be swayed by people's prayer and worship, and therefore didn't bother. The latter theory is largely accepted as it tends to align with the overall view held within Norse mythology, that fate is impartial and inevitable. It doesn't matter if it's good or evil. What's fated to happen will happen, and there's no way to change it. If the Norns are benevolent, why did they weave Ragnarok into being? In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is the end of days event, similar to those found in many other mythologies. Unlike most of these, where gods tend to triumph, Ragnarok is entirely tragic. The final battle ends with a complete defeat for the gods and mortals by the forces of chaos and the end of the world. Some stories tell of several gods that survive Ragnarok, but even then, they don't repopulate the world. Does this imply that the Norns are malevolent after all? After all, if they control all of existence, they could prevent Ragnarok, right? Not really. The Norse people didn't view Ragnarok as something caused by the Norns, even though they fated it into being. Instead, the Norse just accepted Ragnarok as the natural continuation of the world's story. The Norse believe that Yggdrasil and the world as a whole are meant to eventually end. People simply assume that everything dies and so will the universe. In this way, the Norns are viewed as largely impartial. They simply weave what has to be woven, which then becomes the natural order of things. In this way, these three beings symbolized fate, destiny, impartiality, and inevitability, while also representing the past, present, and future, as evidenced by their names. The symbol most closely associated with the Norns is the Web of Wyrd, which is also called Skuld's Net, after the Norn believed to have created the design. The Web of Wyrd is a representation of the various possibilities that occur in the past, present, and future, and our path in life. The Norns may not be as well known and popular as the Greek fates today, or even as many other Norse gods, but they are still frequently represented in modern culture. There are countless paintings and sculptures of them that have been done through the centuries, even after the Christianization of Europe. The Norns are also mentioned in many literary works as well. It's believed that the three witches in Shakespeare's Macbeth are Scottish versions of the Norns. The image of three women deciding the fate of other beings was common. The Norns, however, appear to be the most powerful of such beings, as they had the authority to decide the fate of even the gods. As such, the Norns were arguably more powerful than the Norse gods. What do you think? Were the Norns more powerful than the Norse gods? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to support our channel. Thanks for watching.